Meet Dave Lizewski, average height, average grades, and socially invisible. High school nobody with two semi-loyal nerd allies, Todd and Marty, and one fantasy that lives rent-free in his head. Katie Doma, the goddess of his algebra class who doesn't even know he exists. His mom? Dead from an aneurysm. His life? A sequence of unnoticed footsteps. But unlike superheroes who find purpose after tragedy, he just keeps going. No radioactive spider, no vengeance arc, just boredom. At the local comic cafe, Dave pops the question,
how come nobody's ever tried to be a superhero?
Cue his friends.
Well, I don't know. Probably because it's fucking impossible, dipshit.
Enter Chris D'Amico, the mop-haired son of mob boss Frank D'Amico. Todd, thinking 3 steps ahead in cowardice, suggests,
we should, talk to him. See if he wants to hang out with us. Think about it. Come on, it'd be awesome if he was our friend. No one would ever fuck with us again.
They shove Dave into the conversation, which ends when Chris's hulking bodyguard scares the hormones out of him. But life has a way of nudging idiots into action. Dave and Todd get mugged by 2 street thugs.
Phones, money.
And while Dave's getting robbed, he spots someone watching from a window. Not helping, not calling the cops, just watching. Dave decides, I'm gonna be the guy who does something. Next step, eBay. He buys a diving suit, paints it, adds gloves. The fantasy takes shape. Kickass is born. In Dave's head, anyway. Meanwhile, across town, crime is alive and well. Frank D'Amico, mob kingpin, thinks someone dressed like Batman is hijacking his operations. He tortures one of his own guys, assumes betrayal, and kills him. Then takes his son Chris to the movies like it's Casual Friday. Somewhere else, a man trains a child to take a bullet. Meet Damon McCready, ex-cop, vigilante in the making. His daughter, 11-year-old Mindy, future war machine. He shoots her in the chest with a bulletproof vest on, then takes her for ice cream. Parenting. Back in Dave's world, training means jogging, YouTube tutorials, and painfully hesitating to jump between rooftops. Spoiler, he doesn't. But fate throws him another chance. He spots the very same punks who mugged him now trying to jack a car. Dave changes. Not mentally. He literally just puts on the suit, under his clothes, and walks back into danger. He gets laughed at, then stabbed, then hit by a car. The getaway vehicle drives off. Dave's in agony, bleeding on the pavement, whispering to a paramedic, please hide the suit. Classic superhero origin moment, just without the heroic part. In the shadows, Frank's criminal empire keeps churning. Joe, his right-hand man, figures out the Batman theory might be real. Chris tries to prove he's useful to the family biz. Frank shuts him down.
Finish your oatmeal.
God damn it,
Meanwhile, a Russian mobster gets grilled in an industrial microwave, yes seriously, and explodes before he can talk. Dave wakes up in the hospital with metal plates in his body and nerve damage that makes him feel less pain. Call it a miracle, or bad luck with bonuses. Now he's part Wolverine, part walking insurance liability. Back at school, Katie talks to him.
Hey.
She even invites him out for coffee with her and a friend. Dave's on cloud 9 until Todd and Marty bring him crashing down.
There's a rumor going around, right? That you, are gay.
Gay?
Yup, Kickass can take a beating, but not that one. Dave returns to school a little more metal and a little more misunderstood. Rumors swirl. Apparently, if you get hit by a car naked, the school decides you're gay. The fact that the paramedics found him clothes-free doesn't help. At first, Dave's mortified. But then he realizes if that's what it takes to get close to Katie, he can live with the label. He leans into it, quietly. Meanwhile, the mission isn't over. With reinforced bones, dulled pain receptors, and 2 steel batons holstered behind his back, Dave is back and officially goes public as Kickass, launching a MySpace page that no one asked for. Then, one night, he sees a missing cat poster, a perfect low-stakes mission. He spots the cat on a diner sign, climbs up, slips, and crash lands into chaos, literally into a man running for his life. The guy's tackled by thugs mid-sprint. Dave doesn't hesitate. He charges in, batons out, flailing like a wet mop in a bar fight. People watch. Nobody helps. Except a diner full of New Yorkers start recording. Because if you don't post it, did the beatdown even happen? A knife comes out. One of the thugs asks, "You really want to die for some stranger?"
Yeah, I'd rather die.
The crowd gasps. The thugs realize they're live on the internet beating a defenseless dude. They flee. And when asked the million-dollar question,
Who are you?
Dave turns, bloodied but proud.
I'm Kickass.
The video, viral overnight. YouTube explodes, memes pop. New York has a new masked idiot hero. Even mob boss Frank D'Amico sees the footage. Chris, his son, is impressed. Frank? Not so much. This kid's gonna get himself killed. Elsewhere, Damon and Mindy, aka Big Daddy and Hit Girl, watch too. Mindy sees potential. Damon sees future bloodstains. Meanwhile, Dave is flying high. His site gains followers. And then Katie, asks him for help. Some creep named Rasul from her volunteer work won't leave her alone. Dave tells her to message Kickass. Later that night, Kickass marches into Rasul's apartment like it's a Western standoff. He threatens to break Rasul's leg. Rasul laughs and calls in the cavalry. Kickass tases the guy in the forehead. It's mildly effective, right before he gets tackled and held down. One of the gang members pulls a knife, but then the door flies open. A blur in purple slams a blade through Rasul's back. It's Mindy, 11 years old. She mows down the entire gang with brutal efficiency, while Dave hides in the corner, clutching his baton like a terrified baton-clutching idiot. One last thug sneaks up on her. A shot rings out from a rooftop. Sniper, headshot. Damon, in full Batman cosplay, nods from across the alley like it's just another Tuesday. They loot the gang's stash and disappear into the night. Before leaving, Mindy finally introduces herself.
I'm Hit Girl.
He's Big Daddy. She jumps rooftop to rooftop like a mini assassin. Dave stays frozen in place, too stunned and too scared to follow. He goes home, climbs into bed, and quietly sobs into his pillow. Because now he knows. He's not the hero in this story. He's just a dork in a wetsuit. Meanwhile, Joe, Frank's fixer, shows his boss a photo. Someone captured a masked figure in the Gangland massacre. They don't know who it is, but it might be Kickass. Frank is done playing. Find him. End him. That same night, Dave's peace is shattered. Big Daddy and Hit Girl break into his room like the world's weirdest bedtime story. They tracked him through his MySpace IP address. Because nothing says vigilante stealth like unsecured internet, Dave decides he's out. The kick-ass life, too real, too dangerous, too bloody. But Big Daddy and Hit Girl don't argue. They leave him with a simple message. If you ever need us, just update your site status to on vacation. Cold, professional, gone. Meanwhile, Frank D'Amico's paranoia grows like mold. He calls Detective Vic Gigante to handle Kickass, but the cop wants nothing to do with mob business outside his jurisdiction. And while Frank fumes, Cody, one of his guys, goes missing. Spoiler, Cody's not just late, he's dead. Big Daddy and Hit Girl got to him first, pulled every dirty secret about Frank's operations out of him, and cleaned up. Dave, on the other hand, is busy winning. He's now in Katie's life, literally rubbing lotion on her. He's living the fantasy, barely holding it together when she casually mentions Rasul hasn't been seen in a week. Dave just nods, tries not to sweat. At Damon's hideout, an old friend reappears. Marcus, ex-partner, current cop, walks in and sees the armory. Their history? Complicated. Damon was framed by Frank, thrown in prison, lost his wife, and left Mindy in Marcus's care. After release, Damon vanished, raising Mindy into the silent weapon she is now. Marcus begs Damon to stop, says Mindy deserves a normal life. Damon says it's too late. Gigante's hunting vigilantes. Marcus warns him, but agrees to keep quiet and Mindy. Frank, now spiraling into mob mania, thinks he spots Kickass in the street and beats the kid half to death. Problem is, it's not Dave. It's a wannabe in a knockoff suit. Wrong guy. Meanwhile, Katie finds out Rasul is dead. Guilt hits her hard. Dave comforts her, and just like that, she lets slip the line that flips his whole world. I wish you weren't gay. Uh-oh. Back in the mob office, Joe lays into Frank for getting his hands dirty. You're the boss, not the muscle. Chris overhears everything. He's tired of being sidelined, so he pitches his plan. A new masked identity, a new persona, one that'll earn his father's trust. He becomes Red Mist. Chris frames one of Frank's own men, fakes a bust, and lets the media eat it up. Red Mist hits the news as a rising crime fighter. Then he reaches out to Kickass. They meet. Chris plays it cool, calls Kickass his inspiration, offers to be his sidekick. Dave hesitates, until Red Mist unveils a flashy sports car. Suddenly, it's a buddy cop movie. Chris drives Dave straight into a trap, Frank's warehouse. Only when they arrive, it's on fire. Bodies everywhere. Red Mist panics, runs in. Kickass follows. Everyone's dead. Chris grabs a teddy bear from a shelf, and they barely escape before the entire place explodes behind them. Later, Chris returns to Frank with answers. Kickass didn't do this! He shows Frank hidden nanny cam footage from the teddy bear. Inside, Big Daddy wiping out the entire warehouse, leaving nothing but ash. Frank sees it, understands. Kickass's noise. Big Daddy is the threat. Time to set a trap. Marcus warns Damon. Gigante knows it wasn't Kickass who wiped out Frank's warehouse. Damon doesn't flinch. It's time, he tells Mindy. We finish this. Meanwhile, Dave finally decides to end the charade. He heads to Katie's place to tell her the truth. The moment she opens the door, a sudden blast of pepper spray to the eyes. Romantic. Through watery pain, Dave rips off the mask and blurts it out. He's not gay, he's just in love with her. Katie's stunned. And then, she forgives him. Next thing you know, clothes are flying. Kickass is off duty. And on top of the world. For about a week. Then come the spam messages from Red Mist. Something's wrong. He tells Katie he has to go. Superhero business. Chris tells him they're being framed for the warehouse massacre and convinces Dave to contact Big Daddy for help. Dave posts on vacation on MySpace. The bat signal of morons. Somewhere else, Damon and Mindy are examining a massive weapon they just bought. When the distress signal comes in, they suit up, Red Mist and Kickass drive to the rendezvous point, unaware they're being tailed by Frank's goons. Big Daddy opens the door, surprised to see Chris, but lets them both in. And then, Betrayal. Hit Girl sits by the window. She turns to greet them, and Red Mist shoots her in the chest. She crashes out the window. Big Daddy screams. Frank's men storm the room, beat Big Daddy and Dave unconscious. Red Mist tries to protect Kickass. He's not part of this, but it's too late. Dave's bagged and tagged. One of the goons grabs Big Daddy's bazooka like a trophy. Red Mist is dragged back to Frank like a prize. Chris protests. This wasn't the plan. Frank shuts him down. Big Daddy matters, but killing Kickass? That sends a message. Next move, a live broadcast. Kickass and Big Daddy, bound to chairs, on the internet, masks still on. As the countdown begins, Katie watches, stunned. She thinks Dave chose this. Marcus watches too, helpless. Frank's men begin beating them senseless. Then, gasoline. They douse Big Daddy. Just as the flames are lit, the power cuts out. Darkness, chaos, and in that blackness, Hit Girl returns. She's alive, armed, furious. With night vision goggles and deadly precision, she slices through the room. One thug still manages to ignite Big Daddy. Flames roar. But even burning alive, he coaches her through the final kills. She wipes them out, then rushes to extinguish him. Too late. Father and daughter share a last moment. He dies in her arms. Silence. Then she turns to Dave, cuts his restraints. They escape back to their hideout. Dave, overwhelmed, tries to talk her down. This life, it's not for you. but Mindy's eyes burn with revenge. I'm ending this. And Dave, realizing it's partly his fault, agrees. He grabs the monstrous weapon Big Daddy had prepped. It's time for war. At Frank's compound, the guards are locked in, weapons drawn. They're ready. They think they're ready. Kickass and Hit Girl are coming. The plan is simple. Storm the castle. Mindy, dressed like an innocent schoolgirl, knocks on Frank's front door. They've never seen her face. They let her in. She plays the Lost Kid card like an Oscar winner. Help! I can't find my parents. One guard kneels, offers his phone. Bad move. She pulls a gun, shoves it in his mouth, fires. Before anyone else can react, she's already switching outfits. Hello again, Hit Girl. She clears the floor like a silent storm. Bullets first, blades when she runs out. Blood flies, limbs fall. One thug grabs the bazooka, traps her behind cover. Then they hear it, a whirring metallic growl outside. Windows shatter as Kickass jetpacks in, miniguns blazing. In seconds, the room's empty, except for bodies. Inside Frank's office, he and Chris listen. The gunfire fades. They think they've won. They're wrong. The doors burst open. Hit Girl and Kickass crash the party. Frank barks at Chris. Fight him! Chris hesitates, then pulls a wooden katana. The battle splits. Frank versus Hit Girl. Kickass versus Red Mist. Frank's a brute. He slams Mindy across desks, pounds her like she's nothing. She fights back, but it's rough. Just as he aims a gun to finish her, Kickass storms in holding a bazooka. Frank turns. Not fast enough. Whoosh! Boom! Rocket! Window! Sky! Frank D'Amico explodes midair. Chris stirs, grabs a sword, but too late. Kickass lifts off again. Jetpack roaring. Hit Girl in his arms. They land safely on a rooftop. She takes off her wig and mask. My name's Mindy. For a moment, just a moment, she's a kid again. Later, Mindy moves in with Marcus. She enrolls in Dave's school, ready to live a normal life, or as close as she can. Two bullies try to size her up for lunch money. She smiles, cracks her knuckles. They rethink everything. At a coffee shop, peace has returned. Dave kisses Katie. Marty gets his girl. Todd, still reading comics. Kickass has retired, but his legacy? It's just beginning. Except one thing. In a dark office, Chris D'Amico, now fully transformed, sits in his late father's chair, a new mask, and revenge on his mind. The game isn't over.